You were quiet there. Are you
No, I
sure?
said I said ready. I just said it.
Oh, really? Should we check mics again?
Um, no, I'll stay close to this spot.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Are you ready? So you ready?
ready. Ready.
Welcome to the Civ and the Pylon. This is Cory, your beloved Pylon,
And it is I, the Civ, Sam.
who sounds so nice this week. Oh my
I,
god.
in case people can't tell, Sam got a microphone, like
Yes.
a real one, not like a $9 headset from the bodega, which
Yeah.
I've got so many of.
Oh, you actually went to a bodega and got like headphones because it sounded like you just like threw a bunch of like batteries and like paper clips in like a tin can and just somehow wired it up to your
That's
computer
fair,
there
but
for the
no,
last couple weeks.
it was in fact just 5 different. I'm pretty sure I've had a different pair of bodega headphones for each week of recording. They're like $7. It's a great deal. It's the place I get the untaxed cigarettes from. It's people should know about these things.
Untaxed cigarettes. What do you mean?
Cigarettes are like $15 to $18 a pack in Chicago, so you got to go to the places that I guess I assume go down to like Gary and then buy them and sell them for $8 a pack.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Really?
it's dramatically, yeah. So it's like it's a legitimate part of my week to week budgeting.
Holy shit!
I refuse to buy cigarettes from anywhere other than what I'm not going to put their name out there.
Got you. No, that's real. When I was this was like in 2013, but when I was on tour on the West Coast, um, the dude who knew and did like the most touring was just like, okay, we're in Montana. The next stop
Yep.
we can get cheap cigarettes is Arizona, and that's in 9 days. So everybody bought a fucking carton for like $40, and sure as shit, once we
Yeah.
hit Washington, it was like $9
Mhm.
a pack, and that was like 8 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, cigarettes are I mean, they're stupid on a lot of levels, but they're also stupid expensive, and it's because it's easier to tax poor people because they don't care about what we want, and more poor people smoke. So quit with the fucking sin tax, everybody. It's not a fair way to pay for everything.
No, it's true. And
Poor people
honestly,
don't keep
dude,
smoking it, and now it's just fucking $1 a cigarette. So,
no, now it's like $1.50 a cig. It seems like.
Mhm.
Um, Dude, that's like one of my biggest regrets in life is quitting smoking. Like ever since I quit smoking, I've gained like 100 pounds and just like I'm even more sluggish. I feel like ever since then, it just like
It's
fucked
also
my entire
I,
shit up.
I'm gonna put it out there. I know that it's not actually like functionally a sexy habit, but cigarettes are sexy. They just are. They look cool. It's a nice little postscript to having a meal or some sex or some whatever. You go out, you share a cigarette, you look cool. Just they're sexy.
No,
The
they're
smell's
not.
not sexy,
Cigarettes
the
are
effect on your
gross.
body's not sexy, but you know.
Ever since I quit, though, I like seriously just like loathe everything about them. Like I
Yeah.
have neighbors who smoke, and I was just kicking it in the porch before we were getting set up, and they
You're
like
that dude who's like, you're polluting the air.
he's smoking. Well, no, they smoke inside, but then they set up a fan
Yeah.
to suck the smoke out, and it just bleeds into my porch, and I'm just like, this is terrible.
That's some St.
This
Paul shit.
this is terrible. This is
St. Paul
absolutely
people still smoke in their houses. Just let it be known, everybody.
that's it's so like say what you will about smokers. I mean, do whatever the fuck you want, really. But Jesus, dude, if you smoke inside your house and you
Gross.
want to sell at
It's
any
gross.
point in time, it's
Yeah.
so disgusting. Oh,
I only feel good about it from the slumlord run apartments that I've worked in. I'm like low key grateful that they had to pay to refinish the walls eventually because all of us just smoked inside of their apartments. But I'm also grateful that I no longer smoke in my domiciles. It's gross.
yeah. You know what is about some St. Paul shit?
Minnesota Wild.
Holy fuck! On fire.
Looking pretty fucking good. Looking really good.
Yeah, Zach Parise hit his 800th point against the Avalanche on Wednesday,
Yep.
taking him 1,031 games to do so. I don't know, Sam. Do you think he'll hit 1,000 points with 5 years left on his contract?
I don't. No, I don't. I really don't. I think if we're lucky, we'll see a couple 30 to 40 point seasons out of him. I like Zach a lot. I think he's a good All-American boy. But I don't. That's a bad contract, and he's not a very good hockey player anymore. But you know who is a good hockey player?
Nico Sturm, Matt Zuccarello.
No, neither of those guys. Neither of them are very good at hockey anymore.
Ryan Suter.
Ryan Suter's still an okay hockey player. He's a good hockey player. He's, it's not a great contract either, but it's way better than Parise's. Kirill Kaprizov, he's the real deal.
He is the real deal.
The real deal. Holyfield. I know that he's a 24-year-old or something like that rookie, and it's kind of it's not necessarily, I don't know, the Calder with like the limitations on age maybe should happen, but if you're near a point per game on, look, the Wild are not, they're hot right now in what is a really weird season. Maybe they'll even like do better than we all thought, but it's not a good team. There's some decent points. That's not a team that looks like Stanley Cup contention, and it's certainly not an offensive powerhouse. So to be a first year in the league guy on the Minnesota fucking Wild and scoring at a point per game or near a point per game is pretty remarkable, and I think he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, no, I kind of disagree with you. I not about Kaprizov, but dude, after being a fan for so long of this team and just like getting used to them like playing a super defensive style, like the last 3 games, I want to say, not really 3, like the third period in their first game back from postponement, they look really competent in the offensive zone for once, which is something that is like I'm not used to. It feels new to me.
Where's it coming from? It's not. It's because of. I mean, it's luck.
Hold on though. I honestly, Matt Zuccarello too. I'm telling you, he knows what he's doing too. You watch him and he can move around. He creates space. He
was a very good hockey player. That is a horrible contract, and you can't tell me otherwise.
It's a terrible contract, but I really enjoy him as a piece on this team. I don't know. I think it's hard for me to complain about the way the Wild are playing.
He's 5'7" and 33. Also, I just want everybody to know that Corey tried to tell me that the Montreal Canadiens had a great offense earlier this week. So this is just to put in perspective.
You look at them at the beginning of the season, and they were scoring fucking goals.
Look at the fucking names on their team, and you know that there's no offense there.
I don't know.
I just like is Marcus Foligno going to score 15 goals this year? No,
that's not why he's on your team.
I know, but that's where like a lot of this offensive production is coming from, and I agree, it's exciting, and I think it's really fun to watch, and I look forward to what they will do in a season where they can just like analyze mostly subpar teams in their division and see where that goes. But this is not, when you look at like an offensively talented team, San Jose Sharks from 5 years ago,
I live in the now, bro.
People
are going to be talking about the 2021 Minnesota Wild.
You don't, because you think Matt Zuccarello still is a very talented player. He's 33.
I think I'm not saying he's like talented forever, but I think this team and what they're doing, scoring 20 goals in their last 4 games.
Yeah, it's really
You can't
fun.
say,
really fun.
I mean, it's 5 goals a game. Like, that's like the over in Las Vegas, and they hit that at like every game. Like, it's really hard not to say like they don't know what they're doing.
It's been 4 games, Corey.
4 games, dude, but they're on a 6-game winning streak.
I know. I'm excited about it. I don't think that you can a wild extrapolation to call them a good offensive team.
They beat Avalanche.
Yeah. I didn't watch the game, but I wonder, was anybody on the Avalanche out?
No,
No. You
no.
sure?
I'm telling you, it was a good game. But dude, I'm saying after watching them skate with the Avs and then go up against LA and score 3 goals in the first
Yeah.
15 minutes,
Yep.
I get LA's traveling, everybody's playing back to backs every other day or whatever. Tough
LA's not a
shit.
good team.
They're not a good team, dude, but they came into that
Yeah.
winning their last 5 games. They were
Yes.
on
Yep. The
they were
Wild
hitting
beat
their
them on a
stride and
streak.
the
Yep.
Wild were
Yep.
like, "Yo, this is what's up." And they put them in their fucking place. Tonight though will be a good game. I feel like it'll be closer, but um I don't know. I like the Wild in the West. It's I and hey, go back the last 3-4 episodes. I've wanted the Wild to not make the playoffs, and you know what? I've really tried to make the point that they wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know how that's working out for me now.
I think they're going to make the
I
playoffs.
think they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, there's been actually I'm gonna touch on that in the fucking Northern thing. There's a Derek Stepan rumor going around about how he wants to play in North America. A couple people think that he's gonna land with the Wild or St. Louis, but I don't think you touch anything that the Wild is doing right now. I honestly
Not for Derek Stepan. He's not.
no
He's 30. He's not actually a number one center anymore.
no, and we have a bunch of would have been, should have been, used to be
Yeah.
number one centers. We don't need.
Yes. We don't. We don't. For $8 million too. I don't think so.
No, yeah.
I don't actually hate him as a hockey player. I think he's pretty good at hockey. But I don't think that I don't think he's a big enough difference maker for the Wild to need him right now.
No, and there is, I don't know, there's like a ton of teams in the North, like too many to even list, even across the entire league, that are just kind of like needing a offensive piece.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why, I don't know, like you look back, I'm not defending the signings, but I also like understood where Guerin was coming from, grabbing like Nick fucking Bonino and fucking what's his dumb face.
Wasn't Bonino a part of the Zucker?
Bonino and some, I don't know. I feel like we just stocked up on center signings
He
in the
got
offseason.
Marcus Johansson for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, fucking Vancouver is a prime example, and I'll talk about them when we get to the North, but it's just like, dude, they have nothing. They would kill for a guy like Nick Bonino or fucking Marcus
Yeah,
Johansson.
and they'll give up a bunch. I mean, it's definitely not worth Dumba and a pick to get Derek Stepan.
Fuck no. And that's the thing too. You're looking at we came into the season knowing with the expansion draft we were gonna need to trade for a forward piece.
Yep.
Dude, these defensemen now that are solid stay at home or maybe will score like 30 goals in a season, the comeback around for that now I think is going way fucking up. Way up.
Yeah.
Anyways, the West is also looking really, really tight with a 4-point margin spread between the top 6 teams, which should be closer, but Vegas, San Jose, Anaheim, and St. Louis all falling victim to postponements this week. Kind of feels like a season that never really starts if you're in the West. Every game counts, and it's really fucking cliche and boring to say, but it's like absolutely true. Nobody can really afford to go on a 3 or 4 game skid for the rest of the season. It's just going to be super fucking tight. Moving on to the North, Montreal fired Claude Julien, which is kind of surprising because they're really not doing shitty considering their lineup. They did win 2 of their last 8 before firing him, although the change of the bench press didn't turn shit for them as they gave up 6 goals in their loss to the Jets Thursday night with their first game with their interim coach in control.
Who is it? Do you know?
I didn't put it in my notes. I'm sorry.
An assistant manager or some shit? Yeah, that's okay.
Dude, it's just like what that ADHD meds drew to you. You have like this sight, you have this goal in mind, and you just shoot for it, and you don't.
As somebody who only finished their my high school, whatever senior year, I don't know. There was some dramatic thing that was due that I had to put in junior year because I wasn't in high school in senior year. But as somebody who only finished it due to Adderall, I will say it gets a lot of work down on paper, and then you eventually look at it and you're like, that could have been more thorough.
Yeah.
But you sure put out a lot of ideas.
Yeah, but it's like better than what you would have done.
Oh no, for sure. No, otherwise I wouldn't have done anything.
No, I would have.
I just
I would have played video games and watched like 4 hockey games at once. Even during their skid, though, the Canadians, they're 9-6-4 with 22 points and a goal difference of +8. Again, their lineup is a little less than remarkable. They're not having a hard time scoring goals, and it's kind of weird because you look like Vancouver, who are 8-14, 2-6-2 in their last 10. I don't see why Travis Green, the coach for them, didn't get fired first. Like, they are just free falling. I don't know. They do have a bunch of players out, though. Vancouver does. They have Markstrom on IR, a slew of others. Tyler Mott, Louis Eriksson, Michael Furland, and Justin Bailey. Louis Eriksson, Furland. Again, 2 players who are old, not producing, but you kind of wonder
most of those
what
guys
would happen.
aren't really that good.
Yeah, but you kind of wonder what would happen with them in the lineup. Like, I don't know. They have Toronto and Montreal this week, and I'm expecting them to be at the bottom of the North as Ottawa has gone 5-2 in their last 7. Ottawa has, and they've won games. Ottawa's won games against Toronto, Montreal, and Calgary this last week. So I don't know. I think you'll see a switch up in who is at last place. I think Ottawa might. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything like that.
Hell no. Can I just say real quick, they have a -27 goal differential.
Yeah, no, that's fucking real. But
I don't think that they're 5-3. Also, before that, they lost 5-2. They lost 3 games in a row. I don't know. They're bad. They're still bad at hockey.
No, they definitely are.
Yeah.
But they did win against Toronto and Montreal and Calgary, so it's kind of like.
But that's gonna happen this year. These boys are all going against each other at the same time. I hear you.
But
it's a big win.
And then I don't know why I put this in my notes, but to me last night it was worth noting that Edmonton has won their last 5 games, and then I just put Connor McDavid rules.
Oh my god! You're
and
a
then,
fucking loser.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Future bet: who finishes last, Sam, Ottawa, or Vancouver?
I go Ottawa because I think Brock fucking, what a horrible white person name. Never name your fucking child Brock, please.
Brock Besser.
But Brock Bozer, whatever.
Besser.
That fucking kid can play.
Yeah, he can.
More than anybody on Ottawa, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. I like him too.
And I think that alone, like offensive punch, you win some games that otherwise you don't. Although Vancouver does, they look really terrible.
Yeah, and they have a minor league backup now.
Who do you think? You think Vancouver's on the bottom though?
I think Vancouver, and I think because you look at just look them up on Twitter, like their fucking community is just like calling for heads, and I don't know. I don't think that.
God, I try to avoid Twitter, but yes, I hear you.
I just think that you have to do something. I think that they're going to see a coaching change in the next 3 weeks maximum, and they have no defense at all. So I think they're going to end up last, and I'll throw 3 down on that.
$3 heard.
Yeah, I don't want to blow.
I like these long bets.
I do too. I gotta write them down though, because I don't want to lose track of them.
Well, fortunately, we can re-listen. And if someday we got ass capped, we only need 1 million views on all of our stuff to get $3,000. So, just so everybody knows, if each of you wants to listen to our episodes 200,000 times, I could afford 6 months of health insurance. So think about what you'd be doing for my future.
Seriously, just we'll remove all the music so we could actually monetize this, because they threaten to take down every video that I put up because I put up music that's like copyrighted. We'll take off all the music, and then if you listen to this, just put it on repeat when you go to bed. Every night for the next year.
I think Spotify built something in where they like don't count it if it goes over 3 times in a row or some shit.
That's whack.
But anyways, moving
Um,
on.
dude,
It's okay. I'm used to no health insurance, everybody.
I'm not gonna say how great it is, but anyways, I
Yeah.
cursed the goddamn Panthers last week. They went
Oh,
two
did
and
you?
two.
Did
But they're
you?
still on top of the Central by 1 point. Last night. Um, they went 2 and 2 last week. They have Carolina and Nashville this week. Nashville has been free falling, and it's been widely known that with the trade deadline coming up in a little over a month, they're poised to be sellers and do some sort of rapid rebuild with pieces that they hope to get in return. Elliot Friedman has made it clear the only untouchables on the team are Ellis, Josie, and Rene. Looking at Nashville, they have a lot of pieces that could be sought after by Toronto or Vancouver or any fucking team that needs a goddamn forward piece. That's something I want to go into on the next couple of weeks, probably early April, just see who's poised to get what and what rumors are, because there's a lot of hearsay on that.
Yeah,
Chicago have also been quietly been playing very well. They're 7-3 in their last
they
10.
have.
Although they only average 3.2 points per game, they played Detroit and Tampa Bay this week. If they're going to gain steam in the division, they got to keep rolling. They're 3 points out of first and 1 point behind Tampa, who is in second place, who they play 3 times this coming week. Dallas should be able to make this some noise this division, but tie the Devils with the least amount of game plays this season with 15 as of Friday.
And not doing great with those 15. Just
No, they're not. But it's, I don't know. In their defense, it's like hard to catch a groove if you're not fucking playing. You know?
totally 100%. No, I think that's true, but they're 6-5-4. That's like
Terrible.
it's like not good. Although they have a plus goal differential. Let's do the Central, since we just touched on it, Corrance, as a playoff betting dollar on a team.
Okay.
Let me go first this week, huh? We'll
absolutely.
alternate weeks.
Yeah.
So I got I'm not overly imaginative here, and I worry that we'll have the same bets, but I have Lightning in first. Yep. I think the Canes grab second.
Okay.
I don't like Chicago, and I don't want to give them credit. And then actually, coming up shortly, I'm going to talk a lot of shit about Chicago, so I do not have them in the playoffs. And instead, even though I also hate John Tortorella, perhaps even more than I hate Chicago, I think the Blue Jackets are going to come in third. I think Florida Panthers are not going to be as real as they look, but they're still going to be real enough to make the playoffs, a la Gerard Gallant. And they will take the 4th seed.
Florida in 4th?
Yep.
Oh.
I said it. I mean, keeping in mind that our slotting of the seeds doesn't actually matter to the bets.
Okay. God, you're so wrong. Florida's gonna be first, and I'll tell you what. I don't know. I'm offended. I'm kind of heated that you would put them 4th.
I don't know why you care about them so much.
I don't know either. I think it's just, their retro reverse uniforms are fucking sweet. Like that dark blue. It just looks nice. I want one of those. I don't know why I'm so fucking jersey crazy.
3 good players.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have time to just tear you apart right now, but I really
okay.
wanna.
We can.
All right, so Florida's first. I think Chicago will take second.
You fucking tripping?
Yeah, I hope so. And then Tampa Bay third. I think Carolina is gonna take 4th. I don't see.
You don't think the Jackets make it in with Line?
No.
And Jack Roslovich playing like a pretty decent throw-in?
Who's their next good player?
They have a fucking crazy defense. Hang on.
Seth Jones, Rensky.
Seth Jones. Do people know that Seth Jones is a piece of shit? If they don't, he
He
is.
is.
He's a real fucking bummer. He's a dick. Cam Atkinson is legitimately a good player. Oliver Bjorkstrand is a really decent forward. Sergey or Jonas Corpusalo,
Yeah, their goalies are pretty good. They have a pretty solid
pretty
one-two punch there.
decent. Don't they have Anisimov?
He's in Florida, I think. Are
No,
you? I'm pretty sure.
he might be. I don't actually. Hang
I'm
on.
pretty sure.
I'm
He's
looking
in
up the roster
Florida.
of the Blue Jackets real quick, just to Max Domi is mostly recognizable as a name, but he is actually okay at hockey. Brandon Dubinsky is maybe my fourth most hated player in the NHL. He's like, I just think he's so annoying. He's the John Tortorella of hockey players, except he's 6'2".
Do you think Alex Wenberg is a good hockey player?
I do think Alex Wenberg is a good hockey player.
That's
Nick
good.
Foligno's a good hockey player.
That's good
Honestly,
because
he's
Alex
way better
Wenberg
than
is on the
Marcus.
Florida Panthers.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, they have Michael Delzato. That's never a good sign. Zach Werenski is a good hockey player. Anyways, they have a decent squad. I think on paper they look as good as the Wild.
What? The
Yep.
Jackets? Oh
Yep.
my god.
Not due to their defense, but their offense is that much better.
Oh, Neesmith.
They have Nyquist. They picked up Nyquist for like nothing, and I know that he hasn't quite returned to form, but Nyquist can still score.
Oh, this is a great transition. So Anisimov actually plays for the Rangers this year, and
Oh, okay.
goddamn, fucking Rangers
talk about Russian.
cannot stay out of the fucking news.
In the drama. So, you mind if I run away for a second?
Run.
Those who are not aware, Artemi Panarin, who has played for the Rangers, ironically, talking about if Kaprizov was going to win the Calder Trophy, Artemi Panarin was the last mid-20-year-old to win the Best Rookie of the Year with Chicago Blackhawks in 2012. It was the year I moved here, the first time. He's really good at hockey. He's also been outspoken against Putin. He's one of the really few of the Russian NHL players to say really anything even vaguely negative about Putin, and he hasn't really held back in that regard. He left the league. I've read varying reports as to whether it was his decision or his impetus to take the time off, but he has left the Rangers for an indeterminate amount of time to return to Russia to address what initially on paper read like really brutal domestic abuse allegations. I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that those accusations are wrong, and this is fucking hockey. I think that it's a really unfortunately likely prospect in the NHL that a player has done some fuck shit as far as like sexual abuse and just like general lack of decency. But there's been a lot of reports coming out that, you know, all the teammates who are there deny any allegation. The KHL has actually denied any allegations that ever came up. It's been conjectured, and again, I'm definitely not the authority here to speak on this, but it's been conjectured that it's a Putin move, and that he is returning to Russia to make sure his family doesn't get murdered because he's been so outspoken about Putin all this time. Russian hockey players, I think that you kind of have. I think Vladimir Putin's really scary. I think he is essentially Donald Trump if Donald Trump was better at everything. Not that Putin's like good at things, but he's a much scarier version of a hateful leader. He is actually a dictator. And you hear shit about political hits and whatever else. People love Ovi. I think, Corey, you like Ovi. fuck Alexander Ovechkin. He's not a good person. He loves Putin. He loves to do photo ops with him. Russian players love to bootleg Vladimir Putin. I'll go a little further and say that if there's leftists that are listening to this that are tankies, fuck y'all too.
Fuck
It's
you.
like it's fucking stupid. Tankies are stupid. The USSR was like not a good representation of the capital or the socialism or communism that we want in the world. If you have lots of other great justifications for communism, which I do. So it's an interesting thing and a scary thing, and it'll be interesting to see how it develops. If he's guilty, I hope his career is ruined. If he's not guilty and he's worried that his family's going to be murdered because he's been outspoken against this like horrifying figure and his entire family's still in Russia, then my heart goes out to him. And I think it's a really unfortunate situation.
Absolutely. And you kind of look at the way that the media kind of like handled it.
Yeah.
With the Patty Kane thing, I want to say in like 23.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, 2013.
Yep.
It was like immediate cover-up tactics, and like that year he was supposed to be on the cover of EA Sports NHL or whatever, and he got taken off the cover of that.
Oh no.
What the fuck like fuck him. But I was watching NHL Network, and they were super swift about the whole thing, and nobody is really like diving into like details or anything, which I think if there is like, I don't know, I think people are trying to be really careful about it, and I don't know, I think
it seems like people are scared. It's weird.
It seems like they are spooked. Thank you. I was having a hard time articulating what I was trying to say there. But no, if it is actual domestic abuse, fuck him. But it just smells different this time.
It does. And a lot of people, I mean, Russians under like the cover of night have come forward saying that they don't think it's I don't have any like great faith in the KHL, but it's weird that like so many people vehemently came forward to deny it, and it's been like so forcibly built as a storyline. Should we move on to something that will probably only be slightly more fun and address last week's proffer of last week's
what are you saying?
Jesus, what am I trying to say, Corey?
The
brothers.
Do you want me to
the hockey families.
The hockey well, we gotta do the East Coast division.
Oh, we have to do the East Coast. Okay.
Yeah. Last week, I was like, we gotta watch the Devils. The Devils could like maybe like do something. I don't know why. I had hoped that they would surprise and like barge in on the usual suspects in the East, but right after I was done editing last week's episode, I watched them lose to the Sabres, and I added in that clip at the end of the last episode to that.
Yep.
And I kind of suspect that they're going to be down hanging in the basement with the Rangers and Buffalo. Buffalo's 9 points out of the first. The Rangers and New Jersey are 8. Buffalo has Philly, who's tied for 4th with the Pens, and have an opportunity to fuck up the top 4 teams in the East if they can get their shit together.
They're not gonna. Why do you keep doing this Buffalo thing?
Buffalo's kind of a shit show. They scratched Jeff Skinner this week.
I mean, Jeff Skinner is not good at hockey either. He's like a Victor Rask,
who makes $7 million a year or $9 million. I want to say.
No,
I think he seriously does. Yes. No, and it's kind of like, what do you do with that contract? Yeah, 8 years, $72 million. So that is fucking holy shit. That's insane.
Is dumb.
That he's a $9 million cap hit for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. What do you do? Well, you can't trade him if he's not playing.
You can't buy that out either because it'll cost you
Yeah.
$6 million for 20 years or whatever. Wow.
No, yeah. Next year too, they've got to pay him a $7 million signing bonus. Oh my
Holy
god.
shit.
Yeah. So Buffalo is just like remarkably fucked, and you kind of hope that you're building a team around somebody like Jack Eichel, who I think if you have good pieces around him, like Taylor Hall, they should be able to do something. But you're looking at the bottom of the standings in the
Yeah.
East, and you're thinking, "Fuck, I'm stuck with this terrible contract." And now Taylor Hall he signed a 1 year deal there. I doubt he's staying. You're probably
hell
trading
no.
Eichel too. Buffalo, you're fucked.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that they'll ever actually let go of Eichel?
I think they have to.
Yeah.
I think they have to. I think that you have to get picks. You have to get picks, and you have to get players at the end of their career that will sign for a little bit of money and build up, your prospects. You're kind of stuck with a really shitty contract with Jeff Skinner, which I don't know.
That's crazy. I'm just like, I cannot believe that they did that. $9 million. Also, after a season where it was a good season, but it wasn't like he scored 40 goals, which is crazy, but it was a 63-point season. It's not like $9 million's like right before superstar contract level.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're on, I don't know, I think if you are like a solid piece and you have solid prospects coming up, I think that's like a very team-friendly contract that you can like build around. But like,
if you're 20, he was 27. He just
that's
had a fucking
exactly what I'm
63
saying.
point. That's crazy.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I don't think that's the contract that you give to somebody who isn't putting up 100 points.
Man, that is wild. Anyways, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah, Buffalo's
That's
fucked.
a bummer. Buffalo's fucked.
I lost a bet to you.
You did.
On the fight that was supposed to happen in the outdoor game on Sunday night.
You did.
But I think I metaphorically actually won because the Bruins beat the shit out of them 7-3 that game. But I'll still fucking pay you. It's whatever.
Goddamn right. Come with my ones, literally.
Philly did have a bunch of injured players, so I don't know. Everybody kind of knew Bruins were going to rack them up. Pasta had those really sweet Pit Vipers shades on. I don't know if you saw this.
All of you fucking metal kids would stop talking about Pit Vipers. What is it with metal kids and Pit Vipers?
I don't know. I can't wear sunglasses. I don't have prescription sunglasses, so I can't wear them. I have to wear hats. Bruins play Washington and the Rangers this week. I expect them to maintain their royalty on the top of the East.
Okay.
Although the Islanders have an opportunity to secure the second place with games against Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Buffalo. Who do you think, Sam, is going to take second place this week?
This week?
Yeah.
Like at the end of this week, who's going to be in second place?
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Islanders. That is the only good division in hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Islanders too. I don't know.
The goal differential in the entire division is 13 points.
It's not bad.
From top to bottom. That's crazy.
I have it.
The goal differential in the North is 46.
Yeah, Ottawa just learned how to put goals in the net.
I know, but even like Vancouver and Calgary are both like 30 some. Anyways, yeah, it's just a much tighter division than anywhere else in the NHL.
Moving on to the families.
Cory and I said, hey, Cory, who do you think the most dominant NHL family in the history of hockey is? I said hockey family.
Yeah. I picked a shitty one, and I regret it. And I got angry when I was writing it, and you're gonna tell when I read it.
I took it as a smear piece personally, so I have two, but one of them is really just an opportunity to talk shit.
I have two. Yeah, you want to go first?
No, you can. We'll do one and one, huh?
All right. I picked the Kachucks because I
Uh,
wanted to be a fucking edgelord, but I just like really regret it because I was just doing all this fucking reading on how Keith Kachuk was like a locker room cancer and like fucking people hated to play with him.
I think he fucked somebody's wife. I can't remember. I might be making that up, but I think he was like kind of a Patrick Sharp too.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna rattle this off real quick. But yeah, this is maybe the biggest family of egos in the NHL. The Kachucks. They're all first round picks. Keith was 19th in the 1990 draft. Matthew 6th overall in the 2016 draft, and Brady was 4th in the 2018. Keith had 50 goal seasons in the 90s, excuse me, and never came close to those numbers the rest of the career. It was well known that his ego was huge in the locker room, and his eldest son, Matthew, is proof of that. Matthew is known to start shit without finishing it more than not, except if you're a fucking Minnesota Wild fan and you watched him fucking injure Matt Dumba, and he has not been the same since. But he has 249 points in his first 4 and 1/3 seasons in the NHL. His dad had 380 in the first 5. Brady has a really long neck, his fucking weird deranged face, and is the tallest of all of them by 2 inches and plays for Ottawa. He has 104 points in 3 seasons, but again, he plays for Ottawa, so it's kind of unfair because he plays for Ottawa, who is terrible. Keith's arrogant ass got into the All Star games a bunch of times and was in sulky contentions a few times. Rumor has it because people didn't want him to cry, hear him cry if he lost. I don't know why the fuck I picked these stupid fucking people. They're also devout and conservative pieces of shit. Fuck them. Why the fuck did I pick these people? This sucks.
um, yeah, fuck the Kachucks. I'll say Keith Kachuk may only have had 2 50-goal seasons. He was, I don't know, he's probably a top 100 all-time NHL players, if not top 50, I think.
And he
He was
did.
a prototype of a power forward that the boys aspire to be. He was like tough and good at hockey.
Yes.
He's a bummer. They're all fucking bummers. I don't like them at all. I'll start with my first team. I just want to be clear that I'm right about both of these teams over both of Cory's offers, and I'm right about it from a skill standpoint and a just like a prolific levels of NHL history standpoint as well. But I'm going to start with the Sutters, which I think is actually the correct answer. Pretty easy to find out. There's been 9 players to play in the NHL from the Sutter family from 2 different generations and various combinations of sons, cousins, brothers, whatever. One of them really only technically made it to one of the second generation. Brody Sutter played, I think, 8 games 1 year in the NHL. So it's like it's a stretch. But even still, with 8 NHL players, it's a hell of a hockey legacy. I believe 4 of the 6 brothers from the first generation of Sutters went on to become head coaches, at least for some period in the NHL. Obviously, what's his name? Sourface. He was with the LA Kings forever. Daryl Sutter, big deal coach. I think for a while people thought was one of the best coaches in the NHL. I don't know if people still think that. First generation was all honestly pretty good. Brent was really good. Brian Sutter was borderline great. He had 179. He scored a lot of points. One of them got fired from the Islanders semi recently. It sounded like there was some weirdness, but the boys probably put up, certainly the most collective points as an entire family. We're talking about like thousands of points collectively. The second generation has been a little disappointing. One of them is an assistant captain for the Canucks, so we know how that's going.
Does he still play for them?
He does still play. I looked it up. I didn't know if he did either. He was hurt a lot 1 year. He had like 2 decent seasons, scored 20 goals ish, something like that. Then got traded by the Pens, in which I can't promise, but I think was a trade that worked out for the benefit of the Pens because they got rid of him because he's not that good at hockey.
Dude, they got Nick Bonino for him.
Then it worked out for the Pens.
And a second-round pick? What the fuck?
Yeah, then it definitely worked out for the Pens. He's okay at hockey, and I think he's there and old, and he's supposed to be like a nice boy or whatever. They're named like boring Mormon names. They're all like Brent, Brody, Bry. It's all like what's the when you do the same letters? Alliteracies?
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
Alliterations. They're all alliteration families.
Didn't he get a hat trick recently too?
Maybe it was for sure the first of his season. The other one, and again, I'm sorry, I can't remember any of their names because they're literally all like, there was like Dwayne and Daryl and Don, and then Brent and Brody and other B names, and I just can't.
Brett.
It's Brett. There's a Brett. I'm pretty sure. Brent, I can't remember.
And then Abrent.
Yeah, it's too much. But the younger one may still end up being a pretty decent hockey player. I kind of assume that their time in hockey greatdom is over. But again, from the first generation, 6 of these guys made it to the NHL. They all had reasonably long seasons. One of them played 1,000 games, I believe. And they all were like at least good hockey players. Just there's something special in that cream of wheat or whatever the Canadians eat for breakfast.
Cream of wheat?
I don't know. I've never actually had cream of wheat. I don't really understand what it is. Is it cereal? Is it for casseroles? Is it?
I don't know.
You don't know either, do you?
I usually just skip breakfast. I just have coffee.
Cory knows. I'm not sure if we have an email address, but if we do, you should, and you know what cream of wheat is used for. Send us a holler.
It's Civ, spelt incorrectly, SIV, and Pylon Podcast at Gmail.
Okay.
And if you email us, I will Venmo you whatever I owe Sam for this next coming week's worth of bets.
Well, okay, tight.
Just want to see if it works, you know?
Cory, run us your second hockey team show, or hockey family.
Okay, so this family does not have as many offspring, but I think for pedigree is pretty important, and they're relevant to something that I'm going to go on a tangent about, so please buckle in for that. I have the Kessels. I think as a chubby person who gets made fun of sometimes, Phil is kind of a hero for people like me.
Hot Dog King.
Hot Dog King. He won the cup, and there was.
And the boy can fucking skate. He is fast.
It's just his build. He just has like kind of a chubby face. It's weird.
He just has a fat face. It's not even that he's like actually all that thick. He's got a fat face.
No, but I've always loved him. His interviews are always like hilarious. He has 1,085 games played in the NHL as of Friday. He's won 2 cups in Pittsburgh. He was 5th overall, drafted in 2006 by Boston. He played with the Gophers for 3 seasons. He also played in Toronto. He currently plays for Phoenix. But yeah, as we said, when he won the cup, he filled it with hot dogs as kind of a fuck you to the people who are giving him shit for drinking Pepsi and whatever. And he also has a sister, Amanda Kessel, and this is kind of like the important thing. The important person in this whole thing, because Phil is a great hockey player, but Amanda is actually kind of a pioneer for women's hockey. She was the first player not the first player, but she had the largest NWHL contract to date. She was a gold medalist. Give me a second here, okay? Gold medalist in the 2019 IIHF Women's World Championships. Did the same, got a gold medal in the 2018 Winter Olympics, a gold medalist in the 2017 IIHF World Championships, silver medalist in the 2014 Olympic Games in Russia, gold medalist in 2013 at the IIHF Women's World Championship in Ottawa, Ontario, 2012 silver medalist at the IHF World Championships, gold medalist at the 2011 and 2012 Four Nations Cup. Um, she played for both the United States under 22 and under 18 teams. Won won the most valuable
Oh my god.
forward in both those tournaments. Excuse me. But yeah, she was this one of two captains for the second NWHL All Star game, scoring a hat trick, and the first to do so in the NWHL. She would also be recognized as the most valuable player in both of those All Star games. After taking a season off from the NWHL due to national team commitments, she returned to the Metropolitan Riverders the 2018-19 season. Following that season, she was one of many players to boycott that league and start the PWHPA in order to push for better support of women's hockey.
Dope.
And Sam, I mentioned a couple weeks ago about that showcase. That showcase is actually tonight.
Shit.
Yeah, they have a Minnesota team and a New Hampshire team. Amanda
Well,
Kessel is on the Minnesota team. But dude,
Okay.
yeah, just star-studded lineup there. They have Coyfield. Fuck, what's her name? Coyfield. I was supposed to put a link in my notes, but I didn't. That's on tonight. Try and find that and check that out. But Amanda Kessel and Phil Kessel, both pretty great at what the fuck they do.
100%. You better get your little ass to editing, so people, all of our devoted listeners, will know to watch it tonight.
Absolutely.
I just want to real quick, Phil Kessel, and like in regards to Amanda Kessel's, quite frankly, activism in regards for women's sports. I like that he don't really hang out with hockey players. I read something about when he got married, there was like 2 guys from the NHL invited to his wedding, and it makes me, I trust that.
Yeah.
It makes me think even though he looks like a bro, maybe he's less of a bro.
I just feel like he doesn't give a fuck too,
I think he just doesn't give a fuck, and he's like, fuck y'all. He's made a ton of money while being able to he's done really well for himself. He's won some cups. That is a remarkable hockey family. I'm gonna come, and I actually think that in some ways this is the most correct of all answers, even though I have been right about everything on this show thus far.
Shut up.
These guys, at least one of these guys, and I argue just by connection, maybe both of them suck. The Hall family is
nice.
Perhaps the most remarkable hockey family. The Golden Douche, Bobby Hall, was really a game changer. He was a great hockey player. He was supposed to be really fast. I have his stats here somewhere, and it's like,
I love that you have paper stats. And you're recording on a computer, like.
Bobby Hall was a superstar. He won 3 Art Ross trophies. He led the league in goals 7 times. Ironically, his goal total was 666, because he might actually be the fucking devil and not in like a cute Satanist I want to sleep with way, like a fucking actual horrible person. He was the first to score 50 goals in the NHL. This wasn't in the NHL, but the WHA, which was an alternative hockey league that gained some traction thanks to House and Bobby Hall. He signed the first over $1 million contract in the history of hockey. It was a 10-year, $175,000 a year. I think there might have been a $500,000 bonus thrown onto it. It was like crazy, unheard of money. And he talked a lot about how people were undercompensated in hockey. He had a 120-mile-per-hour slap shot, which is like pretty crazy in that league. He also, it's worth noting that him and I assume Stan Mikita is a scumbag. I don't actually know, and I might get fought in Chicago for saying that, but my money says he is. They both had the like ultra curled fucking stick, and actually led to a league rule change about how the curvature of your stick, because they just like turned it into this like fucking lacrosse basket of
Yeah.
like velocity. But really good hockey player. 1,063 games played in the NHL, almost 1,200 points, 411 games played in the WHA, with 638 points. Really dramatic. His nickname was the Golden Jet. I said the Golden Douche because he's a piece of shit. He was quoted once, and the exact verbiage of this quote is disputed to some extent, although it's pretty well established. The quote, as recorded, is, "Hitler had some good ideas. He just went a little too far." He was a known Nazi sympathizer.
Piece of shit.
Real big fucking bummer. Went through like 4 marriages, every single one of which had pretty intense domestic abuse allegations.
Why are we talking about this guy?
Because he's a piece of shit, and he's also still a fucking ambassador for hockey for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's in the Winnipeg Jets Hall of Fame. He's celebrated by them. He still comes to games and he fucking waves at the crowd because the NHL is a horrible, amoral trash pit. And I think it's worth pointing out. It comes up every 4 years or so when he's asked to do a speech about something. He's a piece of shit, and this is the other side of this is one of the very vocal sides of hockey. I mean, he's really cherished and celebrated as one of the greatest hockey players ever. I think it would be okay if his legacy got completely fucking forgotten. I don't care if he earned the first million. I don't care if I don't care what records are his. I just don't think that he should be allowed in NHL rinks. His daughter was actually a figure skating star, and she's written at pretty great detail about how abusive he was to the children as well. One of his children was Brett Hall, who has, in very like mild white man hockey player manner, has also called out some of Bobby Hall's abusive and distant bullshit. He has also, though, reconciled with him. He said once he started playing in the NHL, they found a closeness that he didn't think they'd have as a child. I'm sorry, I know lots of people have like intolerant parents and whatever else, but I don't know. The guy's like a piece of fucking shit. I don't think that you ever repair that relationship, and I don't think that you even do it for photo or air marks or whatever. Nobody gives a shit. Just fucking say your dad was an asshole. Your sister did it. You can too. But Brett Hall was really, 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 really fucking good at hockey. I think probably better than his dad in a lot of ways. He was the first player to score 50 goals in 50 games. He had 2 cups. He was a former GM. He went to college in Minnesota, University of Minnesota Duluth.
He fucking won the Lady Bing.
He won the Lady Bing. He had an 86 goal season once. He scored 33 hat tricks in his career.
34
hat tricks. He had 1,269 games played for 1,391 points. Really, really good at hockey. And apparently, I think Brett's also a drunk. I'm not 100% positive about this, but I believe he's also a drunk. Bobby was and is for sure a drunk.
Look at his fucking profile pic on hockeyreference.com, and it's just like, geez, almost a mugshot.
Horrible piece of shit. So fuck Bobby Hall. But that is perhaps the family that produced the 2 most remarkable hockey players in the history of hockey.
Perhaps.
While we're talking about a Nazi, I thought that maybe I know I had suggested that I would go into Jaromír Jágr's career, and he is a sweet, talented gambling addict, and I do want to do a proper dive into all of that. But I've talked about Russians enough this week, and I wanted to speak real quick. I read an article from Akim Alou, who, if you pay reasonably close attention to hockey things, you'll remember for a number of unfortunate reasons. He was the player who Bill Peters screamed at and talked about how he wasn't willing to have N-word music played in his locker room in the minors. He was also the victim of a bullying thing. You might have seen him fight Steve Downey in like a practice years ago. Steve Downey, you're a piece of shit. He's come through a lot. He was essentially blackballed in the NHL because he talked about all of the racism that he endured. I haven't gone super in depth, but I've read some of his like minor league stats, and he was supposed to be like a star. I think he never even touched an NHL game, although if he did, he maybe played a few, and it's pretty clear that he didn't make it because of racism. He now started with a number of other people. He started something called the Hockey Diversity Alliance. And he speaks a little bit, and I think that we should just talk a little bit about the performative social justice bullshit that the NHL tries to sneak by us as a legitimate attempt to make the league. What's their stupid fucking slogan? Hockey's for everyone. Well, no, and racism. They have the hockey's for everyone bullshit, and he's just talking about how it's not, and it's not. It's not for people of color for the most part. It's 5.7% of the league is BIPOC. I don't believe that there's any openly gay players in the league. The NHL and the HDA, the Hockey Diversity Alliance, which Akim Aliu has started, have now parted ways because Akim Aliu just said what everybody who thinks about it should already know, which is that it's not real. The NHL doesn't care. It's all voice service. I saw this clip of, I've seen a lot of fucking racist NHL players with this little stop racism thing on their helmet or behind their goal or whatever the fuck. And I just it's the most neoliberal thing that you could ever possibly. Alex Ovechkin with a stop racism on the back of his helmet. And then like other clips of him like having shots and watching bears wrestle or whatever with Vladimir Putin's like
a joke.
It's goofy. It's satirical on I watched Space Force recently, the like Steve Carell thing that's making fun of Donald Trump's Space Force. And it's like, it's satire written that well, like it's just a fucking joke. It doesn't fucking mean anything. And I see a lot of people who I like, I guess I don't know if I like respect them or their like opinions on politics, but on the social media, I see a lot of people who I think have good intentions who share these like little shots of the NHL with like a stop racism next to like a team who has no people of color in its upper management and and a league that has almost very few people of color in it. The only like diversity focused group in hockey has now turned its back on the NHL. It doesn't fucking mean anything. I wish neoliberals would learn the danger of performative gestures.
No, and that's... Thank you for saying that, because I don't know how to word shit like that, and honestly, as I went to a Catholic school in Robbinsdale growing up, and I didn't have many black friends, and it took me to...
And these guys don't either.
No, and that's the thing. It took me till 25 until I started hanging out with just being out in South Minneapolis and meeting people. So it's being outspoken and uncomfortable about these causes, I think, is hard, but I think that it does take a level of not being okay with just rainbow tape on warm-up sticks. And I think that actually reading into, I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that the HDA and the NHL aren't working together anymore. I think the very least you could do is talk about this with your friends and talk about what this would mean from somebody who does not share the same privilege as us as white people.
Things that are uncomfortable are often, I think neoliberals very rarely want to engage in uncomfortable practice, and that's how you like change perspective, is by being uncomfortable and realize not all there's other ways, and there's people who are open to hearing and whatever else. But I think the like you think about the Charlie Coyle being the like LGBTQIA plus representative for the Wild when he was here.
What a joke.
He didn't fucking go to, maybe he marched in a pride parade on the cop fucking float or some shit, you know, but like,
no, exactly.
He didn't give a shit about gay people. He just like, yeah.
No, and not to sidetrack from like the NHL or anything, but I think like as sports fans, especially, like we need to be aware of like the media and like how we like consume it, and when we see it, like the NFL doing like an also very performative fucking thing to have a fucking statement in their end zone that says it takes all of us.
Yeah.
Like how fucking insulting. Like your league is mostly black folks. Like show some fucking
working
respect.
For white fucking owners.
No, and seriously, and like it's just like a lot of fucking people in the NFL like have worked so hard to get to that level of play, and to not hear the people that are making you all your fucking money use their platform, which is all they fucking know, to be able to voice shit that's actually important to them in their community is just disgusting.
It's super. It is. It's horrible.
Oh, god damn.
So just think about that as a sports fan, because not that you can't be a sport. I'm a sports fan and I don't actively, but we should think about all of that, and we should think about performative gestures in general and why they don't actually mean anything, and why we should all strive to find more pragmatic, legitimate ways to make differences if that's what we want to do.
No, absolutely. I think that's... I don't think we're being pragmatic or fucking like challenging or anything, but I think when me and you were sitting down to like do this, I think like that leftist sports division was like definitely like inspiration, because that's like maybe the only place I've ever had a real talk with sports fans about like how shit is actually fucked up in the sports world. And I think like, fuck dude, I was driving to get coffee in your sister's pastry this morning, and I put on K-Fan, the local sports radio here too, and there was a couple of dudes joking about like Zatlan telling LeBron James to like shut the fuck up and like do his job, and it's just like that got like 5 seconds of fucking airtime. Nobody talks about how like athletes should be able to use their fucking voice and their platform that they worked to get to like forward their own fucking causes.
Everybody else fucking does. You ever seen Kid Rock's dumbass talk?
Hell the fuck low. What's going on?
You know?
Fuck him. And Donald Trump wouldn't be president if he didn't use his fucking platform. Like it's a fucking terrible joke. Like people like it, and I don't know. Going back to what I was saying though, but I also think it's like important to at least to some degree have this message like out there. Like I don't know.
Yep, it's good for people to think about. It's good for us to think about. It's good for and that's part of, I think, if we were better put together, that would be our mission.
Yeah, dude. I would take more than 20 minutes. Not 20. I do spend hours prepping on Friday nights. Like all I do after
I might
spend
an hour and a half.
Really? Dude, I clocked out yesterday. I popped my second afternoon dose of my ADHD meds. I took notes from 3 to 10.
All of us have the ADHD meds, Corey.
I'll send you some.
Yeah, all right.
That's a federal crime. All right. We have just recorded our longest podcast ever. Is there anything else you would like to touch on?
I'm no.
Okay.
Nope.
Next week, I haven't thought that far, but we're gonna do some cool
I'm gonna do Jágr. We are gonna talk Jágr next week. I just couldn't
okay.
Couldn't talk that much about it.
Also, I want to let people know, if you've made it this far and you're sticking around, that we may move recording to a weeknight. So it may start getting released Wednesday or Thursday, but Sam and I are also talking about getting together Saturday nights and doing a kind of live and loose thing on Twitch.
Live and loosey goosey.
So that would be an opportunity to folks like actually
or two.
Yeah, actually interact with us on.
I don't know what Twitch is, but Corey will take me there.
I will. So look out for that. We're working that out. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to do that. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
If come to fight, get out of here! You ain't no better than the bouncers! We ain't trying to be police! Let's go.